It's important to talk about the Mahdi and understand the rough time frame in which he appears, what the world looks like, the world in which he appears, so that nobody can trick us. Nobody come and tell us that they are the Mahdi, or that the Mahdi is 5 years away and we need to establish a Khilafah before the Mahdi gets here. And that has been used in the past, and people have gotten in trouble because of these same exact ideas and thoughts. And the more you know, the more that knowledge will guard and protect you, inshaAllah. Alright, so let's start with this hadith narrated by Al-Hakim in his Mustadraj by Abu Sa'id Al-Khudri radiallahu anhu. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, towards the end of time, the Mahdi will emerge. Towards the end of time, the Mahdi will emerge. Allah will provide rain for him, and the earth will bring forth its vegetation. Wealth will be plentiful. Wealth will be plentiful or bountiful. Cattle will be plentiful, and the ummah will grow. He will remain for 7 or 8 years. Alright. He is one of the minor signs. We said some scholars mention him as a major sign, but that is not correct. The major signs are 10. The Mahdi is one of the minor signs. Now, let's look at another hadith, because we have a lot of descriptions so that when he does come, we can identify him, right? So in this hadith, it's narrated by Abu Dawood and At-Tirmidhi. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud narrates that the Prophet ﷺ said, if there's only one day left on earth, meaning there's one day before the Day of Judgment, Allah is going to extend that day, make that day long, prolong that day so that a man from me or from my family can come. He will bear my name, and his father will bear the name of my father. So remember that rule we said, you have to put all the narrations together. Like if you just look at this narration by itself, you're like, I don't understand what's going on. But if you attach it to the one we mentioned earlier, and the one we're going to keep mentioning, you're going to get a bigger and more complete picture of the Mahdi and who he is and all that. So here the Prophet ﷺ is saying, it's another way of saying he has to come. He has to come before the Day of Judgment. Even if there's one day left, Allah will make that day long enough just so the Mahdi comes. You understand? So then the Prophet ﷺ says that a man from me or from my family, from me, from my family, from my lineage will come. He will have my name, and his father will have the name of my father. So that means the Mahdi's name will be Muhammad ibn Abdullah. That will be his name. It can't be Hassan Abdul Ghafoor and then he tells me I'm the Mahdi. It has to be Muhammad ibn Abdullah. So his actual name is Muhammad. His father's name is Abdullah. Not he went and changed it in court. Alright? He was Ali Siddiqi, and then he went Ali Siddiqi, went to the court, became Muhammad ibn Abdullah. He's like, why do you do that, my friend? He's like, well, that increases my chance of becoming the Mahdi. Yes, and they're still 0. Your chances are still 0. Now, then what about the Mahdi then? I know we know a lot of people now, their name is Mahdi, but his name is not Mahdi, it's a title, which means the one or the most guided or one that is guided. That's what it means, from Hidayah, right? So, guidance here is not his name, that's just a title. His name is Muhammad, his father's name will be Abdullah, just like our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He will be from the lineage of a Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but from the side, because the Prophet sallam, from Fatima, who married Ali ibn Abi Talib, she had Al-Hasan and Al-Hussein. Now, he's going to be from that lineage, but from Al-Hasan. There are a number of narrations that indicate he'll be from the offspring of Al-Hasan specifically. Whereas, what's interesting, for the Shia, they have it through Al-Hussein. And they, in a sense, have a problem with Al-Hasan. Because for them, their whole religion is built on Ali should have been the Khalifa, and then his sons should have been the Khulafa. Not Abu Bakr, not Umar, not Uthman. And he was just waiting for his turn, and they took it a number of times. So, Al-Hasan and what he did. You remember the Prophet ﷺ, when Al-Hasan was young, he held them and he said, Inna ibni hadha sayyida. He said, this son of mine is a sayyid. And he said, he's like a leader, a master. And then he said, and Allah will unite 2 groups of people through him. And so, after Ali radiallahu anhu was assassinated, Al-Hasan became the Khalifa, but there were 2 Khulafa. So for the sake of Muslim unity and for the sake of the Ummah, he abdicated. He gave up the Khilafah and Muawiyah became, the whole ummah came under Muawiyah. He did that, he gave that up, and he gave up the dunya and ruling for the sake of the ummah, and for the sake of Allah, and for the sake of the unity of the ummah, and so that there will be no bloodshed. It's a very noble act. But this is a very big deal for the Shia. Because the Shia, the whole religion is Ali should have been the Khalifa, not Abu Bakr, not Umar, not Uthman, and his children should have been taking over after him. So now in their scenario, Ali is supposed to be after the Prophet ﷺ, but Abu Bakr comes and takes it for 2 years. So Ali is waiting in the sidelines, according to them, angry, waiting for his turn. Then it's his turn finally when Abu Bakr dies, he should come. No, Umar becomes the Khalifa for 10 years, and he's in the sidelines, angry. Now it's been 12 years. Then Umar is stabbed, radiallahu anhu, he dies. Now it's his turn finally. Then Uthman comes and takes it over for 12 years. So 24 years he's been waiting, and it's finally his turn. But when he becomes the Khalifa, it's a time of turmoil. It's only 6 months long. Then he's assassinated. And then, rightfully so, his son now should take over. Al-Hasan takes over after years, right? After like 2.5 decades. And then he's like, here, I give it up for the sake of unity. That's why they have a problem with, for lack of a better term, they have a problem with Al-Hasan. But he will be through the progeny or the offspring of Al-Hasan, and that's as if like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving him this gift. It's like almost to repay him for giving up the Khilafah the first time. Then it comes thousands of years later, but through one of his offspring. Now, the description of the Mahdi, this is in Sunan Abu Dawud. And Abu Sa'id al-Khudri narrates from the Prophet ﷺ, he says, the Mahdi is from me. He's from me, meaning from my family. He will have a prominent forehead and a pointed nose, which is what is called an aquiline nose. An aquiline nose is a nose where there is a bridge. It also has other names, Roman nose, it has other names. But basically a nose where there is a bridge here. And he will fill the earth with fairness and justice, as it was filled before him with oppression and injustice. And he will rule for 7 years. يَمْلِكُ سَبْعَ سِنِينَ. He will rule for 7 years. So, this is the only authentic description, physical description of the Mahdi, is that he will have a prominent forehead, and he will have this aquiline nose, or this nose with a bridge on it. And that's it. Every other hadith that describes his physical description would be weak or not authentic. This is the only one that we have that is authentic.